Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another long-awaited episode of Wellness and Wonder. Before we start, our apologies. It absolutely has been far too long since we posted an episode. Myself and my entire team, we do have day jobs that we have to tend to, so this is like a fun little hobby for us. We did have a fantastic year. We're very proud of what we were able to do with this side job of ours in 2025. We had some amazing guests, got to cover a lot of wonderful and intriguing and exciting territory about where the world of wellness and healthcare is today, where it's going. And quite honestly, we've got a lot of great stuff queued up for 2026. So we're very excited about continuing to carry this torch and share all kinds of insights with you, our listening audience. This episode here today is a little special in that I don't have to be your host. I get to hand the mic over to one of our key team members. She's really the brains behind this whole thing we're doing here with Wellness and Wonder. This is the lovely Miss Emma Hierholzer, who's going to be hosting the episode today. Emma was very fortunate to be able to attend the biggest industry event in healthcare called HCD, Healthcare Design Conference. This was back in October of 2025. Emma was able to roam the streets, if you will, and meet a lot of wonderful people from the product and design standpoint. It's a little different of an episode here because everyone is coming from a different position, mostly not so technology bent and what immersive experiences are like in healthcare, because that was a lot of what we covered in 2025, but really more about product, materiality, really where, manufacturing and where all this is headed. From finishes and fabric to furniture, she covered a lot of ground. And most importantly, she got to wear a green wig. And we're going to let Emma speak to you a little bit about the green wig. Emma, why don't you explain how that came about, please?
Thank you for the introduction. I don't think I've ever been introduced in the same sentence as saying I wore a green wig. So there's that. But I'm excited to be on this side of the mic. As Raj said, my name's Emma Hierholzer. I am not the only, brains behind this amazing podcast we have, but thank you.
One of them. Yes.
One of the many.
We'll get Amanda behind the mic one day.
Yes. But like you said, my day job here at Bialik is marketing. And so I get to play producer, usually behind the scenes for Wellness and Wonder. But like he said, I was really fortunate to be able to be in Kansas City this past fall and attend HCD. Now, what you guys are going to be hearing here in a few seconds is kind of the audio version of what I was able to capture. But please go check it out on YouTube. This was kind of filmed as a vlog and podcast episode. So
you get to really see the green wig.
Exactly. If you want to see me with green hair, be my guest. Just a note on that. I really was just wearing that so people could talk to me. It was my gimmick, my shtick. And it worked. It did work. So, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It was really fun to be there. I learned a lot, talked to a lot of very interesting people, and learned about some products.
You had a couple of you summarized some of the stuff like into a couple of key themes, right? I mean, what were those?
Well, there was a lot, but I would say, and again, even though this was in October, I think it's still incredibly timely. Since a lot of these themes that I noticed are definitely going to be trends going into 2026 in healthcare design and design in general. But, I would say a theme that kept coming up was playfulness in clinical spaces, making sure that clinical spaces aren't so clinical. Neuro-inclusivity, how does that play into product design? Sure. Not only in healthcare settings, but in just workspaces, workplaces. Caregiver wellness, that's always a huge one. Thinking about, how do we care for our caretakers? Movement, ergonomics. I was able to really get an ergonomics breakdown from Miss Nora Felton over at Via Seating, as you'll hear, and a lot on behavioral health. That's, an industry within healthcare design that's definitely not going away, obviously. And there's just been a lot of resources and money and research put into how to make behavioral health design and product design better, friendlier, nicer, again, less clinical. So, again, this was a very product lens, but I hope you guys can learn something new, and excited to share.
There's some really interesting things to some takeaways from it. So I'm very glad you got to go to the conference, and I think without further ado, we should hear from you as you were on the streets meeting the folks.
All right. If you just want to take a moment to introduce yourself and what Futurist is all about, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
All right. Hi, I'm Mark Allen, the head of Futurist Solutions. We are about solid surface prefabricated fixtures and fittings.
Very cool. And what makes Futurist special?
What makes us special is we're about true innovation. So we have products here that are designed for the healthcare market with specific needs like infection control and durability, sustainability. So all the things that are really required in today's healthcare industry.
That's awesome. What is just something that, in general, you're really excited about in the industry, and how do you think Futurists can meet that need?
I think moving away from institutional, to higher design, I think the market needs it, especially in behavioral health. I think that's an area where we have a lot of room to grow into solutions that are much more sustainable, but also don't look so industrial or institutional.
Yeah, you guys have beautiful products. And here on Wellness and Wonder, as our name kind of alludes to, we really think wellness is obviously a huge trend that's not going away and can really impact the healthcare experience, whether you're a patient or caregiver. How does Futurists incorporate wellness, if at all, into your design, and where do you see that going?
Yeah, wellness, I think, is just part of our DNA. It's incorporated in our products. The look of it, the feel of it, the touch of it, how it makes you feel. You see, we have a very clean, modern aesthetic. So it's just part of our DNA.
It's a beautiful, silky kind of feel on that.
Got to touch and feel it.
You do. Very tactile. But thank you so much, Mark. Appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing what's new with Futurists.
Great.
Thank you. If you just want to take a second to tell us your name and a little bit about your role here at Miller Knoll.
Sure. Hi, my name is Shelby Maynard, and I am a clinical strategist or nurse consultant here at Miller Knoll. It really separates us from the men and the boys, really. So I've been a nurse for almost 35 years. Amazing. I've been in the critical care and the perioperative services space, as well as the ambulatory space and on the floor, primarily in the hospital setting, but just a little bit into the outpatient surgery world. So I've done ambulatory as well.
Okay, so you've been on uber clinical side, you've seen also administrative spaces, and you're taking all of that many years of knowledge here to Miller Knoll and doing...
So I'm here to support all of our customers, our dealers, our colleagues. I bring a clinical voice. So that really separates Miller from everyone else. They value the voice of the clinician. So not everyone has a clinician in their space that can help be the translator, that can help be the person who really makes sure that the end user is happy with what they have. And it makes all of our dealers shine, makes everybody, it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a resource you are. That's amazing. So here at Wellness and Wonder, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of designers, a lot of manufacturers. So very much on that side. We haven't really had a chance to talk to, I know you're, maybe no longer a provider, but people, on the provider caregiving side, tell me a little bit about how wellness kind of relates to that side of things and why that matters so much.
Absolutely. So retention is key. As our nurses are leaving the bedside in high volumes, as well as physicians, it's key to make sure their space is as healthy as we can make it. So sound is important. The look of the space, the feel of the space, the comfort of the space keeps nurses in the space. So it's important to make sure that we develop a space that's a calming sense, that's quiet. You have to step away, because if you don't step away, you're going to walk away. So stepping away into a space that is really safe is incredibly important. So soft edges, I know that sounds crazy, but a soft space, a nice place to just rest your mind, not necessarily your head. And it parallels well with nursing and our complementary therapies. Nursing is really focused on a complementary therapeutic process for our own selves. So really thinking about where we can do that for one another, whether it be healing touch or Reiki or those types of things. We do that for one another so that nurses are healing each other. I call it nurse energy.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And that's what a great holistic kind of explanation. I mean, just all the details that go into this, like you said, even rounded edges and everything. It's just sense of calm. And we've heard that a lot today and on our podcast about just neuroaesthetics and what that means. Lighting, touch, all of the senses, so important for nurses. Mm-hmm. And then beyond just wellness, what are you excited about in the future of design? What are you seeing trend-wise that is really positively impacting caregivers? Sure. So the future of design is really one that the end users don't know of. So oftentimes design knows, but the end users don't know about that. So I'm excited about educating the end users about the impact that all of us who have had so much experience can bring to them. So people say you don't practice as a nurse. I do. I practice creating spaces that are healing and that heal the nurse, heal the physician, and heal the patient. So that is a different type of nursing. Nursing is an art. It's not, and a science. So here at Miller Knoll, we do things differently. We bring science and art. So nursing is an art, and we bring the research and the real why behind it. Whereas other companies may not do that. Yeah. And they have a different focus, which is perfect. Yeah. But when you really want to bring together art and science, fabulous here at Miller Knoll. I love that. Is such an inspiring message. And thank you so much for all of the many years of your work as a nurse. I have 2 family members very close to me who are nurses. So I'm always a big supporter, but that's great that Miller Knoll is able to use your expertise, and I can't wait to see what you guys do together. If you just want to take a second to introduce yourself and talk about where we are today.
Sure, yeah. My name is Elise Heckman. I'm the SVP of Brand at Room. We're a sister company of Carolina. We're both owned by OFS. Okay, so we're part of the OFS family of brands.
Awesome, awesome. And tell me a little bit about this particular product here.
So we're really excited. So Room's been around since 2019. We design modular architecture, but this is the first year that we partnered with Carolina to create a product specifically for the healthcare market. Okay. So what we're looking at here is the Room in Carolina healthcare phone booth.
Okay.
A little bit of a caveat. It's not launching until 2026, but we're kind of teasing it at the show to give everybody a taste.
I mean, it certainly looks beautiful. Talk to me a little bit about what makes it special and its healthcare connection, if anything special.
Sure, yeah. So it's flexibly designed. So most important, it's very easy to install. So what we want to make sure that we have is when we're going into healthcare spaces, the ability to be able to create private space out in the open. If it's hospital lobbies or waiting rooms, if it's patient rooms or kind of patient lobby spaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
As well as even telehealth. So we want things to be very easy to move into and to pop up. So this assembles in 60 minutes, which is incredible.
I almost want to be
right? You want to build it to try it. Build it to try
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so the idea is to have private space, right? Yeah. Everybody needs a moment just of respite of home.
Yeah. And certainly in hospitals. Do you see this being used on like administrative side or patient side?
I think we see it both, which is incredible.
Okay.
I think we see it both. Yeah.
Okay.
We're testing the waters with some hospitals right now too to kind of see the best use case, but we're seeing an interest and a need on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you briefly mentioned something about a certification. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So we're very excited. So this booth itself is made with kind of sterile, health cleanable, health grade fabrics and surfaces. So everything is very easy to clean. It's hygienic.
Yeah.
But we just received certification from the IBCCES. And what that gives us is a certified autism resource certification. What does that mean? So we cater to the neurodiverse.
Okay.
The idea being you can come into this space, you can shut out distractions, and you're just kind of eliminating, shall we say, kind of the chaos. You're kind of stepping into a welcoming, warm, private environment that just allows you to think, make a private call, or also just have a moment to reflect.
Amazing. That is so cool.
I think you should step inside.
Should I step inside? All right.
Yeah.
We're doing it. If I can get inside. Yeah, just immediately when you're in here, it's just like the noise is totally quieted. Really beautiful, just wood accents. The lighting is great.
So the amazing thing is here. So we have built-in ventilation. So there's fresh air that's being pulled from the outside, circulated through and pushed out every 60 seconds. So it's every minute there's fresh air coming in. This is bleach cleanable surfaces. This is a high pressure laminate, which makes it very easy to clean. So we've kind of made sure that we've thought about the healthcare environment in every component.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you for inviting me in.
Absolutely.
And just one more question before we go, as my wig is falling off. It's fine. We're just going to roll with it. So this is a great product, but even just looking forward into the future, now we're going to get a little esoteric. What excites you? And how do you think wellness really, with our podcast, it's a big focus. How do you think that it ties into your brand story?
Oh, I love that. I think there's so much opportunity in healthcare. Rue specifically has been in the commercial real estate and commercial workspace world. I think there's so much opportunity to bring kind of hospitality into the world of, shall we say, kind of hospitals and wellness and so on. And so I'm excited that I think there's a lot of bridging the gap that we can do. And I think with the autism certification that we received too, we're making a lot more room for neurodiversity in kind of, in kind of mental health in workspaces and hospitals and so on, and really kind of meeting everybody with where they need to be. It's exciting, and I'm proud that Room can help with that.
Well, I can't wait to see when this launches officially, and thank you so much, Elise. Hi. If you just want to give a quick introduction to yourself and why we're here today.
Sure. I'm Stephen Parker, architect and mental and behavioral health planner at Stantec in Washington, D.C.
Okay, very cool. And Stephen, what are we standing in front of?
So standing in front of the Clark compartment is a recessed shelf for behavioral health environments. So this was born out of my experience of designing a lot of these facilities that need storage. To meet the 7-day requirement for FGI for inpatient rooms, but also the need for safe, durable, and dignified storage. So oftentimes in these environments, you are trying to mitigate specific risks, but also have a dignified experience for patients who may not be having the best time in their life. So where can you put your shirt, your shoes, your book, that little binky as a kid that you don't want to leave behind? And so this is a great solution that we help prototype at Norex. It fits within existing 16-inch stud spacing. It works for both new and renovation. So if you have an existing facility and you need to recess some storage, you can just cut the drywall, recess it, and you caulk it. If it's new construction, you often have 2 layers of impact chip, 2 layers of 5/8. You recess it and you caulk it, and then it's flush. You can flip it upside down or sideways. You could clean it out with anything you like all day. It's almost impossible to hide in. These are recessed so you can't climb. And because it does fit within oftentimes the dead space behind walls and cavities where we try to chamfer corners or otherwise try to avoid blind spots, this fits within a lot of those cavities. So you can then recess that storage and make use of dead space otherwise. When you go in these facilities for mental and behavioral health, oftentimes just any and all belongings take up every horizontal surface. And you are required to provide some level of storage depending on how long the patient is there, to how to do that in a way that if your belongings have a place, then you feel like you belong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your journey into behavioral health design. It can just be a 30-second synopsis, or really, I guess, Why are you so passionate about it?
Yeah, I mean, mental behavioral health design provides a sense of purpose in my practice. And for those that I work with, oftentimes these patients can't advocate for themselves. And their perception of reality might just be different than you or I. And they're not always able to have a voice in the spaces they inhabit, not to say their design. And so how do you give them a little bit of comfort, a little bit of dignity in a time of their life where they are just not able to be an advocate for themselves? But also for the caregivers who are trying to take care of them, how to make these spaces safe but dignified, how to mitigate risk but also drive recovery. For me, that was having family members that, like many people, have facing crisis or mental health or addiction that drives a sense of purpose for me. And then have benefited from a long career in mental behavioral health and trying to make a difference for those communities facing these issues, whether that was born from my thesis research in graduate school, my personal experiences with my family, or the great collaborations across Stantec I've had addressing these facility types for communities around the globe.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful story. So here on Wellness and Wonder, obviously, as our name kind of alludes to, we talk to all kinds of people doing amazing work in healthcare, but really a focus on wellness. What kind of trends are you seeing? I should say, what does wellness mean to you in behavioral health? Let's start there.
Where to begin? I think many people also want to look at mental well-being in a preventative manner instead of an interventional manner, to not have the need to have someone to go into an inpatient room like this, but also to think about either kids in school, and they might have diverse sensory needs coming out of the pandemic and relearning social skills. What about the built environment, whether in education or for mental behavioral health? It gives you a sense of autonomy and agency to craft the sensory experience you may want. So sensory-enabled architecture, ability to craft an environment for your sensory needs, whether you're on the spectrum or have neurodiverse needs. What about the built environment can help and not hinder your current state of mind, or if you want to move into a different state of mind, if you're facing depression or anxiety or so forth, where can you go from a place that gives you control over your lighting, over the temperature controls in your environment? If you want to seek out specific stimuli, if we're stimuli seeking, and a hyposensitive person like my toddler wants to taste, touch everything, to a stimuli avoiding person who wants to really tone down maybe a lot of the bright lights they see or a lot of the adverse and unwanted noises they have. But how do you create also scenarios where the spaces around you will create a sensory environment that helps you self-regulate, helps you calm down or deal with your stress in a positive way that you feel like you have control over, when many of us don't control our own. So I think that's a trauma-informed principle as well, but also just thinking about sensory-enabled architecture beyond a sensory room or a space for those people to have those needs taken care of. We all have sensory needs that we need to take, and that's more universal.
And we've seen that all over this conference. I mean, everybody's thinking about it. I'll just leave you with one kind of even more bigger visionary question. What's really exciting you? Whether that's with the work you're doing or just in the industry, what's coming?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that excite me. A lot better products that have come on the market, not just the ones we prototype with vendors. But just the thinking that mental behavioral health is not this very stigmatized space or sector of the industry, that more people are coming in with fresh ideas and trying to evolve things, and that there's a lot of learning that wants to be happening. So I'm excited for the investment that's been long overdue by our clients, help to address what we see in our communities, but also just from the industry being more responsive to taking these spaces seriously and giving them the attention they really deserve to help those in crisis.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate it. Good afternoon. If you just want to take a quick second to introduce yourself and your role here at Via Seating.
Hello, everybody. I am Nora from Via Seating. I'm Chief Commercial Officer, CCO. Some people would say cute, cuddly, and odd. I probably am that more than CCO of Via Seating.
I love it. I'm never going to look at CCO the same again. So tell me, Nora, a little bit about Via. What does Via stand for? What's your mission? What do you guys do really well?
Yeah, so Via, we're in the seating only category. So we get up in the morning thinking about chairs. We go to bed at night dreaming about them. We come up with excellent innovations for lots of different verticals, but here we are at the Healthcare Design Expo, so there's a lot going on. What you're looking at here in the background is a self-sanitizing mesh that we came up with that meets all the requirements for infectious disease control. It's a copper-infused mesh that VIA holds the patent for. But that was one of our dreams that we...
No way. So this is an original VIA material.
It's an original VIA material, patented by VIA. So Shark Tank, I don't know where you are right now. But, I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we came up with the idea because caregivers wanted to have the benefit of mesh.
Yep.
The cool air pass-through is a huge benefit because caregivers are running around all the time. Their body temperatures are hot. The last thing they want to do is to sit in a big upholstered back chair, probably, something that's vinyl, antimicrobial, whatever.
Yeah.
And they'd love to have the idea of mesh because it keeps the body temperature down, but it doesn't meet all the requirements for infectious disease control. So that was the challenge that we were presented with. And this was the solution we came up with.
That's huge. That's really, really exciting. That's amazing. So tell me, did you want to do a product demo here at all?
So it's a former Nightingale Award winner, not this year, but in previous year. But it's widely used in healthcare now for those kinds of applications, but also in education environments too, and hybrid work, because we all could be sharing the same chair. And the idea of this being self-sanitizing is huge. Think about it.
Yeah.
No cleaning means no exposure to chemicals or bacteria or, bleaches. Bacteria can't survive on copper, so it's a biocidal impact on the bacteria. So when the bacteria cell comes in contact with it, the copper actually breaks down the cell wall and exposes the nucleus to oxygen and kills it. So
it's not truly self-sanitizing. That's not just a phrase.
Right.
It is self-sanitizing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So the idea being copper is in every living thing.
Yeah.
It's in our skin. It's in everything. And bacteria is a living thing. So when the bacteria comes in contact with copper, it can't fight back.
Okay.
And the thing with chemicals is, if chemicals are introduced to bacteria, it fights back.
Sounds like the against.
And it gets more resilient. And then it gets into this cycle of becoming a superbug in a healthcare system. Kind of like the same idea as if we over-consume antibiotics. At some point, it'll become...
Right, antibiotic resistant. Yep.
And that's a problem.
Yep.
So think of the healthcare system just like you think of as your body.
That is a great philosophy. Yeah. What a great kind of inspiration. Besides this wonderful, what is this product called?
This is called For You. And
For
there's
You.
a thing going on here too, Emma.
Okay.
Forgive me, I'm geeking out.
Out.
From an ergonomic standpoint as well.
Yeah.
This is not another square mesh back chair.
Okay.
We need another square mesh back chair in this industry like we need a whole
headache.
Yeah. Right? So the reason I'm not a big fan, I'm an ergonomist, is if you've ever hit that very sensitive part of your elbow,
the funny bone.
Yeah. You never want to do it again.
It's not so funny.
Sometimes that happens when you get in a square mesh back chair and then you never want to do it again. I'm going to jump in the chair. Do you mind?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So when you sit in this, you automatically sit up straight.
Okay.
This is very simple, intentional ergonomic design focused on health and wellness. So I don't have to be with somebody to instruct them on how to sit properly.
It just happens.
But this is also an innovation in terms of this is a telescoping gas lift. So kind of ships ahoy on the gas lift.
Okay.
I can go from this position all the way down to a seated position. I can increase righty-tighty, keep it simple ergonomics, to increase the resistance on the back, or decrease lefty-loosey on the resistance on the back here. On this side, when I flip this paddle down, I've now got 3-degree forward tilt in my seated position. At this height, I'm at standard desk height. So this is sit.
Right.
90-degree hip spine angle. I'm going to say something really silly now. That's going to seem silly maybe. This is stand. Right? But at this height, and I'm 5'8", I would be at a 42-inch work surface at a height adjustable table. But at this height, and this is extended now, 7 inches up from that definition of sit. But at this height, I am, and then when you're standing, you're in your neutral spine position, your best posture. So when I transition from this position to this position, my posture doesn't change, but I'm not sitting anymore, right? I'm not standing. I'm in this 2. It's sit, 2, stand.
Ah, there we go, folks.
So this is a 120-degree hip spine angle, and it's much easier to transition from this position to a standing position than physically or psychologically getting all the way up, right? All the way from the seated. People don't do it. Right. And less than 12% of people are using the functionality of a height adjustable table throughout the day. Right. But with this, we're seeing people transition 3 to 5 times a day.
Wow. So it encourages you to use the height adjustability of your desk, of your work surface, to stand, to get up, and to move easier. Wow. That is
benefit.
That's amazing.
You know, you're activating all the large muscle groups. Yeah. You're stimulating better circulation throughout the day. So the employee is getting the best possible experience, and the employer is getting the return on investment of the height adjustable table.
I think we all just got a degree in ergonomics. Take a second to introduce yourself and what SPEC is all about.
Okay, well, my name is Amanda McPhail, and I'm a regional sales manager with SPEC Furniture. I work on the East Coast, but I have to say that I really enjoy working with SPEC. I've been with the company a little bit over 2 years, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about why I love SPEC so much and kind of how we show up in healthcare. So something that I love about us is, as a smaller manufacturer, we make everything to order. So as something that I think that we pride on is we've been around since 1991. So something that we offer in our products that I think kind of sets us apart and part of customization is anywhere that you see metal on any of our products. So for instance, on this booth, the Taylor, and also as you see on the chair and on our table base, you have the ability where there's metal to have it painted out into one of our 91 colors. There's no upcharge for that. What I love about us is that we show up really well in all forms of healthcare spaces. Something that I like about us is when you look at behavioral health, it's kind of like a one-stop shop for how we can provide solutions for our clients. That's something that I love about it.
Hey, so thank you for that overview of SPEC. I'm going to ask a little bit maybe more visionary questions. So the first thing I notice when I come into your booth and maybe talk about this is kind of playfulness of just the colors and your product. How do you think, you know, here on our podcast, we like to talk about how wonderment and awe and moments of just playfulness really tie into wellness. Do you think that that's part of your brand? And do you think that has a place in wellness-centered care spaces?
I think it does. And I really think there needs to be an understanding that you can still tap into softness and, you know, biophilia and home-like feel without necessarily being in an ocean of blue and green. There are a lot of options and opportunities where you can play in healthcare spaces.
Right.
And
that doesn't just feel so clinical. Yeah. And what is one thing, whether that's from SPEC or just something you're seeing in the industry, that you're really excited about for just the future of healthcare? I know that's a big question.
Big question. I would think understanding the need to step away from that clinical astringent feel, I think that has somehow been connected very closely, not only to healthcare, but when you're looking at behavioral health solutions and offerings. I think that's something that since COVID, finding that people want to have that home-like aesthetic, and that is showing up in places that they are going to for services.
Yeah, everything's merging, you know? Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it.
Well, Emma, that was very cool. You know, really thinking about how these manufacturers are looking at the products they're developing, whether it's actual furniture or their materiality, you know, with futurists being in the solid surface, just how they're thinking about their products, what they're doing with them currently, what they're thinking about doing in the future, and the impacts that this can make in healthcare spaces, and the spirit of wellness. It was really great to hear that. Not to mention just being able to hear from our Miller Knoll folks themselves was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I will say the copper-infused self-sanitizing mesh was really something amazing.
I know.
I want to hear even more about that. But the variety of everybody you got to speak with, I'm sure you had a spectacular time. You'll be going again this year, and I'm sure we'll get to maybe do another version of same kind of episode. So I just thank you very much for doing that. And maybe it's a purple wig this year.
I love it. If you guys want to drop a comment, as they say, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this, get in touch with us and let us know what color you actually wear. But thank you, Raj. It was so much fun. It was a pleasure. And
thanks to all the participants, everyone that took the time to chat with you and give you their opinions about what they're seeing come down the road for us all.
Yeah. Do I dare say the closeout?
Please do. You're behind the mic, and you may not. It might be another year before you get a chance to do it.
Well, thank you so much for listening. I'm Emma. Stay curious, stay well, and we'll see you next time.
And keep wondering.